Back to that breaking news we've been bringing you from the East Bay. An Alameda County Sheriff's deputy is in custody right now down in the Central Valley following a double homicide that happened in Dublin overnight. We'll bring in KTVU's Henry Lee. You're live in Dublin. We just saw a press conference that wrapped up minutes ago.
Yeah, Gassia, that sheriff's deputy indeed now in custody after speaking to Dublin Police Chief Garrett Holmes, who personally urged him to surrender during a phone call, which he did to CHP officers in Colinga in the Central Valley. Now, as you can imagine, the sheriff's office in shock that one of their own is accused of a double killing. Let's show you some video that we shot earlier. Yeah, authorities say the sheriff's deputy, the sheriff's deputy, the shooting happened at a home on Colebrook Lane at about 12:45 in the morning. 24-year-old Alameda County Sheriff's Deputy Devin Williams Jr. has now surrendered after he allegedly shot and killed a man and a woman early this morning in Dublin. The shooting happened on Colebrook Lane at about 12:45. Deputies were told that the suspect was one of their own and that he took off in a car. Now, Williams was off duty at the time. The victims are a 42-year-old woman and her 58-year-old husband. They leave behind a young child. KTVU has learned that investigators are looking at allegations that the deputy had been having an affair with a female victim. Now, Skyfox was overhead as sheriff's deputies were at the home, which was cordoned off by yellow crime scene tape. The sheriff's office does provide police services to Dublin. Now, the suspect, Deputy Williams, has been with the sheriff's office for about a year. He worked in the court in Oakland and he lives in Stockton. He previously worked as a Stockton police officer for about a year. Investigators say he was driving a 2007 Volkswagen Jetta at the time of his arrest. Dublin police are en route as we speak to the Central Valley. Now, Sheriff's Lieutenant Ray Kelly said there were no warning signs about this deputy. He had this to say about the suspect.
He's been with our agency for a year. We're going to go back in time. We're going to look at what's transpired in his life over the last year to see exactly what led up to this moment.
Now, authorities say that the suspect, the deputy, tossed his on-duty firearm out of his car near the Altamont Pass. Lieutenant Ray Kelly says the investigators have a pretty good idea of where to look for that gun. They do believe that gun was the weapon that was used in this double homicide. Now, coming back live, they were asked, the sheriff's lieutenant was asked whether or not the sheriff's office, which again provides police services to Dublin, can adequately investigate one of their own. He says, we do believe that can be the case. They will refer the case to the district attorney's office. I will note, because 2 victims were shot and killed, the deputy, if charged and convicted, could potentially face charges of murder along with a special circumstance of multiple murder, which could make him eligible for life in prison if convicted. That's the latest in Dublin. Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
And Henry, describe a little bit more about that phone call from the Dublin police chief to the 24-year-old deputy in question here. We've heard it described as emotional, but, you know, what an incredible thing to sort of help bring this case to this early conclusion.
Yeah, this deputy has no connection to the Dublin Police Department other than this is the department that is investigating him. Dublin's part of the sheriff's office, but again, Garrett Holmes, who has been serving this community for a long time as part of the sheriff's office, did talk to us a few minutes ago. Again, and Lieutenant Kelly said it was a very emotional call. In fact, the media, we were in the lobby of the Dublin Police Services during that phone call. Inside, we were a little bit loud, so they had to tell us to be quiet because they were talking to the suspect deputy at the time. But again, Lieutenant Kelly lauded the police chief for speaking earnestly and personally to this deputy to urge him to surrender, which he did. And again, the arrest happened near the Colinga area office of the CHP in the Central Valley.
Yeah, well, bringing a safe resolution to what has already been just a terrible story. Thank you so much, Henry Lee, for your reporting. We'll learn more from you throughout the day.